Velocity TV begins now.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in for the wildest thrill ride of your life. So grab a snack and sit back because we're about to throw it down.
We've got the best three-wide action door-to-door racing on the turn number 4 you'll find on iRacing, right here live on the Full Velocity Racing Network.
We are about to crown tonight's champion, and it's time to let her dig.
We're restacked and repacked up for turn number 4. Who's it gonna be?
And your source for esports racing is live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Full Velocity Racing Network. Tonight, live from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway East-West Productions Modified Tour, Mischief 125 comes to you tonight live via Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Good evening, everybody. Phil Lacasse here, Blake McCandless alongside, and Jack Truman, the guy making it roll down there in the booth tonight. And Blake, this is going to be a fun event. About 40 cars we have in the pittery here. Very first time Full Velocity joins the gang over here at East West Productions, or Promotions, I should say. This is going to be a lot of fun. Right in my wheelhouse. Whalen Modifieds at New Hampshire. That don't get too much better than that for me.
I was about to say for you, Phil, being up from the Connecticut area, and obviously you know many of these guys. You've seen a lot of these names out racing in the real world, and obviously you get to follow them over here into iRacing as well. You look at the entry list for this race, and it just says New England all over it. So right up your wheelhouse, and obviously very happy to be alongside for this race as well, because these modifieds, they can put on some dang good racing here at New Hampshire.
They certainly can, and I see 36 cars have taken time, but I believe you have to about 43, 44 cars in the pit area. I believe they're all going to start here tonight, so this is going to be a world of fun to do. Tonight's Har Motorsports quick time goes to the number 39 of Max Cookson, a lap of 29.652. Max putting down one whale of a lap. He will lead this field from the pole position. But before we get racing for 125 laps around the Magic Mile, let's throw this thing trackside, pay honor to this great nation, the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
All right, back here live inside the New Hampshire Motor Speedway East-West Promotions. Mischief 125 for the East-West Modified Tour coming at you here now. They are on the grid, ready to rock and roll for 125 laps around. Blake McCandless, what do you say we take a shot at a Voiles Trucking starting lineup?
Let's go ahead and do that, Phil. Starting on the pole tonight, 29.652. That's Max Cookson. Lays down our fast time tonight. Starting to his outside will be the all-time series leader in races won. That's Dave Bodio. He'll start in second. Brandon Wilkinson will roll off from third. Justin Thompson, he'll be starting fourth. Ryan Blanchard will roll off fifth. Keith Jeffrey, he'll start sixth. Chris Forster, he'll start in seventh at 29.803 on the board. Rick Webster will start eighth. Andrew McKenzie will start ninth, and then Austin Jones will round out the top 10.
Rolling off 11th tonight, aboard car number 81 will be Zach Burrick with Bobby Rafferty alongside aboard car number 07. The 13 rolls off 13th position is Brad Carpenter with the number 20 of Joe Lusk on the outside of row number 7. Row 8, we find the number 40. An old friend to us here from years back in NR 2003. That is Alex Crapser, and alongside the number 49 of Jason Perkins. 17th aboard car number 71 will be Gary Holbrick. Kyle Souza will roll the number 99 out for position 18. 10th row, we find the number 9 of Steve Rogers. And Kyle Odiak going to roll off 20th tonight. He is aboard car number 21.
Dylan Kopak going to start 21st. 22nd, Jeffrey Stanton. 23rd, Tyler Chadwick. 24th, Christopher Hyatt. 25th, Anthony Alfredo. 26th, Zach Murphy. 27th, Nathan Davis. 28th, Justin Carey. 29th, Scott Bryant. And then the top 30 is going to be rounded out by Royce Scrivano.
Rolling off 31st will be Glenn Pressel aboard the number 19 as we have the iRacing Guy flag, green flag in the air. 76 of Steve Cosley. Brad Ringer, the number 4. Joseph Segalos, number 77. Kurt Vidgen aboard the number 7 car, the 24 of Jeff McCody. James DuPont, the 33. Jem Caesars, number 91. Joseph Graff. Trent Goodrow, Junior Harville, Harrison Chandler, John Pulio, Keith Medeiros, making up a 44-car field tonight here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, which on the opening lap of the race, we have our first Hannaford Wrecker Service caution, flag of the night, yellow, yellow, yellow on the speedway, and I'll look up and down this long list of cars. I believe we had 40 may have taken the green flag right there, Blake, and I'm not sure if this was thrown by race control or somebody got out of shape, but I believe it, and I'm not sure where it come from, honestly. See if Jack says something down there with a BladeNote.com full velocity replay. I believe it was admin thrown.
Yeah, I believe it was as well. I didn't really see any chaos out there on the racetrack. Obviously, you're going into turn 1 here, and these guys know how important it is to make up spots on these restarts. You have some chaos here as you go into turns 1 and 2, so wouldn't be surprised as if we keep going forward that these guys are going to wad it up here and kind of bang those open wheel tires that you see on these modifieds here as we head into turn 1. I'm looking at the leaderboard right now. It looks like Zach Murphy and Roy Scrivano, they are scored 1 lap down in 39th and 40th respectively. They may not have made it around in lap 1, so again, we'll have to just try and find out and see where this happened on the racetrack.
Absolutely right. I don't think there's anything much to see right there. I think these guys may have just missed the grid. Not sure what was going on there. I think there was some confusion even with drivers out there. So as we roll around under the caution, 3 laps in, 125 laps around. Welcome you guys. You're listening to us for the first time. We are the Full Velocity Racing Network. You can find us on Facebook, also on YouTube, and also at twitch.tv/Full Velocity TV. You can also check out our brand new website, awesome looking site. Great job of all the staff we got here. FullVelocityTV.com is where you can find us. Our full event schedule there. All our sponsors you can see and give a shout to. And so many terrific people that make up the Full Velocity Racing Network. So the gang may be hearing us for the first time. We're very thrilled to come out here to the East-West Promotions. Got to thank our buddy Keith Jeffrey for bringing us out here. And Keith, I look at this entire list of roster, Blake, and a lot of drivers, most of them from the Northeast. And then I see from Auburn, Washington, the number 88 of Keith Jeffrey. The guy in charge of the series here tonight, him and I think Kyle Oldnick can take care of all the stuff behind the scenes. A guy in charge from Washington in a Northeast Modified Tour. I flippin' love it, dude. I love it.
Oh, no doubt about it, Phil. I don't think any one of us up here is questioning your commitment to this and how much you just love to see these cars out here to watch this style of racing, because especially here at a track not like New Hampshire, you think about it with these modifieds, it's really like their version of Daytona. It's a super speedway almost. You're going to see this draft come into play here on these long straightaways, and obviously these cars can do a hell of a lot in the corners as well. You can really put the throttle down and carry a lot of speed through these wide corners here at New Hampshire. So it's right up your wheelhouse, and I think we're going to be set for some great racing here if we can get some green flag runs in.
Absolutely right. As we go, iRacingIFlag.com, green flag in the pride of Pittsfield, Maine. The Splash Go graphics, number 39, Max Cookson will lead the field to the green flag. Brandon Wilkinson going to start on the outside of that first row as we exit turn number 2 on the restart. Looks like 2 will fall in line. Race for third. Looks like the 9 car of Blanchard going to take it away from Dave Bodio. I thought that may be a race for third, maybe potentially a race for the lead over in turn 3, as I thought Wilkinson was going to take a shot to the low side. They'll fall back in line, single file off the horn.
Well, you see Blanchard there trying to arc his corner, maybe diamond it out just a little bit. He's trying to get a good run off and see if he can't find a way to try and make some ground on the straightaway over Brandon Wilkinson right now, though. Those top 2 look mighty strong to the center of the corner. They get on the back straightaway, and really you see them fanning out, kind of moving to the center of the track. You're going to see that a lot here, as those guys looking in their rear view mirrors to see how those guys behind them are using the draft to try and build up those runs.
They absolutely can. You got to think these cars are light-powered, light race cars, big, wide tires. You can drive the heck out of these things on one of these corners here at New Hampshire. And that's it, what I'm expecting in this group here. Looks like there are a lot of guys that race around each other quite a bit, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them here. 125 laps as we were racing that third spot between Bodio's number 16, the 9 of Blanchard stuck up high. Also, Justin Thompson in the 98 car. Looks like give it to Bodio over in 3. It looks like Thompson, he'll follow suit as well on the low side.
Well, Bodio, he's been working about a lap to try and get around Blanchard, but you see Blanchard doing a great job there, moving up to that third lane and just making it really hard on the guy. The thing about passing here at New Hampshire is if you can get a run off the corner, but then if you're in that lane on the bottom and don't have that draft down the straightaways, it just makes it really hard to get a full run and clear the guy when you're into the next turn. So you'll see Bodio, he'll kind of tuck it behind Blanchard right now. Most of these guys looking to just kind of run single file, feel their cars out, and then once the tires start to fall off, I think that's when you'll see a lot of these guys make those moves. But we'll put that on hold right now as a caution flag displayed here for the second time tonight.
Yeah, we have a yellow flag on the speedway. Yellow, yellow, yellow for the second time on lap number 9 now. And I know we'll slow this field down of looks like about 40-something cars out there this evening. Believe I saw, I'm not sure if it was the cause of the incident. I do know I saw somebody like Gary Holbrick's number 71 car was kind of toward the back of the field, so it may have been something to see back there as well. Another car I think may have also got a little piece of their something. May have been Steve Rogers of the number 9, because those two were back there toward the back part of the field as they rolled past that finish line. I'm just throwing a guess out there. So many cars to take tabs on, and it also may have been the 7 car of Kurt Vision that also may have had a piece. The number 7 car, Kurt's a guy that I go way back with. I'm sure he doesn't remember who I am now, but I remember doing the interview with Kurt 20 years ago with the Stafford Motor Speedway, so it's been a long time. Guy we raced with years ago, but the M&M Auto Body machine is down on pit road, so obviously some issues with the number 7 cars. He's down there in the pits early on here working on lap 9.
No doubt about it. He's getting service to that race car that's billowing smoke out here on pit road. So obviously something amiss on that machine as he had some contact here in the back part of the field. Scored a lap down right now, and obviously as he continues to sit in his pit stall, they'll go to work on that machine. Probably will be hurt pretty good here and may not be able to run up at the front here, but we'll still try to get this thing back out on the racetrack.
Absolutely right, Blake, as we walk around under the yellow flag now, working 10 laps of 125. Max Cookson, the pole sitter this evening. He's going to hold the race lead. Guys, I got to say hello to our sponsors out there, of course. Haven't done that yet tonight. Got to thank all the great folks that make us here at the Full Velocity Racing Network. Got to thank the folks over at Hanover Wrecker Service. Also, iRacingIFlag.com. Voiles Trucking, Brian and Kathy Voiles. Going to thank them for all they do for us as well. You can find them over on Facebook. Also going to say hello to Tim over at CCM Custom Designs and Engraving. BladeNote.com, they're our proud sponsor of the Full Velocity Instant Replay we see every night. Going to give those guys a check out at BladeNote.com. Also, hello to our friends down at the South Texas Speedway. Corpus Christi's place to race during the summertime. Check those guys out today. SouthTXSpeedway.com. Also going to say hello to our buddies over at TDR Racing League. They sponsor the TDR Turtle, which we hope to not see here in the modifieds tonight, because the Turtle means you are upside down with the wheels up in the air. That's not the place you want to be here. TDR Racing, thank them. Going to thank the gang over at Team Hard Motorsports as well. They sponsor our quick time of the evening. That goes tonight to the 39 of Max Cookson, our pole sitter, 29.652, so he'll take that award. Also going to say hey to the gang over at Trash Panda Graphics. Going to thank them. They do a lot of great wraps for us, especially over in the dirt. So going to thank Jason Salter and all those guys over there. There's a lot of the great people that take care of us night after night on the Full Velocity Racing Network. None of this can be done with them. And if you guys out there watching for the first time, do us a favor. You got to like the links. You got to like our page. You got to share our links out there. We're live via Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch TV. We're going to throw those things out there. Hope everybody enjoy it as well. Hope you guys will do so. There's a lot of great things happening over here. Hope you come be a part of our Facebook over here. Be a part of our Facebook page. How about you check out the back behind me? Go back to the racing. A lot of great stuff. Check us out once again. Full Velocity Racing Network over on Facebook.
No doubt about it. So much great content that you can check out, and it's pretty much every night of the week. It's a continuing show here at the Full Velocity Racing Network. You never know what you're going to get. Last night we were in our 2003, doing some things over there, and obviously running at Martinsville, and kind of upgrading tonight to iRacing in New Hampshire and to run these great modifieds out here. But we'll work through that now. Approaching lap 13 on the board, and these guys right now, double file restarts. They do have the option to go to single file if the opportunity presents itself and they feel like they need some cleaner racing, but right now Max Cookson, as he has all night, will lead us to the iRacing, iflag.com green flag, and we're back racing here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, we're going to double it up down into turn number 1 and 2. We'll see who it's going to come out shaking with the lead. It's going to be the Cookson, number 39. He'll lead the way over Brandon Wilkinson. Blanchard going to hold on for third. The race is for fourth between Dave Bodio's number 16, Justin Thompson's number 98. They're side by side. Down to the turn 3 is we're going to be graced by the yellow flag here. Once again, New Hampshire, yellow, yellow, yellow. Third time on lap number 13. And I think we know the racetrack is going to be a lot of fun. But you put 40 cars out here, it can make for a race like this kind of early, expecting a lot of these guys to maybe not race together a lot. I know they do a lot of special events over here, so guys may be having to get used to the way each other are going to drive. Yeah, it makes for a feeling out process sometimes. We do see some of these races early on take a yellow complexion, but I know, well, we're going to get this sorted out, and this is going to be a lot of fun to watch over the course of this race.
It certainly will be. As long as we can get that long green flag run, I think we'll be okay. This was just a case of, pretty much in the very rear of this field. It started with Joseph Graff, who was running in the 36th position after that restart. He tries to put it 3 wide. He cuts down a little bit. It's going to be Trent Goodrow, who moved up the racetrack just a little bit into that third racing groove, and obviously a 3 wide move there gets the Graff car out of shape. He moves up into Jim Caesar there in the back of the field. Not heavy damage, just 2 spin-arounds right here. And obviously these guys will put some new tires on it, perhaps repair a little bit of damage, but nothing that Caesar and Graff can't recover from. But that was definitely in the very tail end, the caboose of this field is where that caution flag was displayed from.
Sure was. We got a couple of cars back there, all replays here on the network, brought to you by BladeNode.com. Simple web solutions powered by nerds. They do a lot of great stuff. How about simple web hosting for a great website? How about a VPS server? Even go big time with a dedicated game server. Well, look no further than our friends over at BladeNode.com. And if you go there now and use promo code BLADE10, you will get 10% off your first month or yearly subscription. Let those guys know you were sent by the gang at the Full Velocity Racing Network. Once again, how you find them, BladeNode.com. Sam and Vlad do a great job over there. Thank those guys a lot for all they do here on the Full Velocity Racing Network as we work under the yellow flag with Max Cookson leading over Brandon Wilkinson, Ryan Blanchard, Dave Bodio, Justin Thompson, your current top 5. 6th is Chris Forster. Austin Jones is running 7th. Joe Lusk is 8th. Rick Webster running 9th. And Bobby Rafferty going to round out our top 10 as I believe, thought we may be coming to 1 to go. I think we may be about a half a quarter premature. I think the lights are going to go out this time.
Yeah, I think we'll just have to take one more trip around the racetrack here for the lights to go off of that pace car that's out there. And I think these guys really just want to get some green flag racing in. They want to kind of see what their car has for these long runs. Again, we're still not near done with, 125 laps, we're on lap 16 right now. So I know a lot of these guys like Cookson, Wilkinson, Blanchard, look how hard it is to pass when they want these long green flag runs, because that's where they think they can find an advantage to try and finally work the way around some of these guys. They just want some green flag runs, get the field spread out, make sure these guys aren't racing too hard and not diving each other for position on these restarts. And then we can finally see who's who has a great car over the short run, over the long run. But until then, it's just going to be a feeling out process as we try to get these guys to kind of clean it up here a little bit and put on some green flag racing. And as predicted, the lights will go out on the pace car. We'll be one to go this time.
Absolutely right. Let's highlight the guy running on the outside of the front row. That's a nice-looking car there. The posse on the back end of that number 2. Pawcatuck, Connecticut, bringing us Brandon Wilkinson, the EPYK Media, Rocket Performance, Clear Low Communications, the posse machine there. Number 2 going to start on the outside of row number 1. And the driver notes I got here a little bit ago. Let me get down toward the bottom part of this big page that Keith has sent us over. Brandon Wilkinson, they said, one of the guys to watch over here, has won on the East-West Modified Tour as well in prestigious leagues such as SARA in the Speed 51 Elite Modified Tour. That is 2 pretty esteemed series out here in the iRacing community in these mighty modifieds. Keep an eye on that number 2 of Brandon Wilkinson. He is going to be one of those drivers tonight that I think come lap 125, we're going to see right in the mix of stuff.
We certainly will. We'll try to get it back going here. Coming to lap 18, the iRacingIFlag.com green flag in the air once again. A great restart there for Wilkinson on the outside. Cookson will have the advantage, though. As they go down into turn 1, he'll use the bottom side to clear Wilkinson. But we'll see what Wilkinson can do. Can he get a good exit off? It looks like he may take it. Looking down to the inside, and don't think he has enough there. He'll just have to pack in the line here as they head to turn 3. Blanchard will fall in line, as well as that 16 car right behind him.
Trouble in turn number 1. The 14 of Chris Forster is up against the outside wall. There was some obvious contact to the left rear, a parking lot over in turns number 1 and 2. Apologize, Blake, for jumping in. I saw that braking as it was happening. It was middle of 3 and 4, I should say. The 14 of Chris Forster around, and that set off a wild chain of events back there. Multiple cars stopped with some damage. A parking lot through turns number 3 and 4. I don't think it was a fault of the 14. I definitely don't blame. He was certainly turned around.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think if we look here at this, just kind of going back and looking at it, it does look like Forster got the raw end of a deal there. He gets turned around, and unfortunately, a lot of these wrecks we've seen tonight at the tail end of the field, but this one right in the front, Forster was holding on to that 6th position as they entered turn number 3, and unfortunately, like you said, a parking lot ensued as there were probably about, I'm looking at 7, 8, 10 cars likely involved in this one. Just trying to scroll through and see who had damage in that one. Gary Holbrook, he got turned around. We saw Steve Costley smoke billowing out of his 76 modified. Brad Carpenter got turned around. Joseph Graff had to make some evasive maneuvers. Trent Goodrow, James DuPont, and just a whole host of names here, Phil. I think it may be easier to see who wasn't in this accident, but a big one here early on here in New Hampshire.
That broke right in the middle of the top 10 as well when Forster went around there. Big old chain reaction. A splash of number 14 was sent around, put his gunner yellow. I'm looking over here, Blake. I'm monitoring the Facebook live chat, the YouTube chat, and I have an update from a story we followed last night. This will make you chuckle a little bit. The ambassador of Gent Nation, Brendan Spadafora, he's reporting today the thumb is all fine and well. So whatever that numb thumb condition he had last night, I can thankfully report, Blake, Brendan's doing well. I'm glad he is, and I'm sure he's enjoying modified racing because just like me, he's a modified guy. He comes from this northeast part of the country as well. I'm sure he's having a heck of a time, bud, and thanks for watching us over on YouTube.
Oh, no doubt about it. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers were with Spadafora there as he dealt with that issue last night. Glad to hear that everything is doing A-OK, and glad to see that he's tuned back in tonight and enjoying some of the action that we're bringing from you here over on the iRacing part of things. But just looking forward to the rest of this race. Again, we're still at on lap 21 right now. Haven't seen a lot of green flag racing, and unfortunately that wreck took out a lot of cars that we thought we would see over at the front of this field that we were talking about earlier. A lot of these guys, you've had a whole host of winners here at East-West Promotions after just a small sample size of racing, so very competitive racing over here, and tough luck for a lot of these guys. Already a whole host of names that are already behind the wall or a lap down. We had 40 cars start this event, and then let's take a look here. Steve Costley, James DuPont, Anthony Alfredo, Dylan Kopech, Kurt Vigent, Zach Murphy, Roy Scravino. They're all the drivers that have pulled it behind the wall and will not see the checkered flag in this one. So out of 40 cars, Phil, only 33 remain on track. It's a hefty amount of cars taken out here, and we've not even reached lap 25 yet.
Yeah, that's tough for these guys. There's a lot of racing left to go here, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Gotta say hello to a friend of yours and mine there, Blake. A guy who celebrated a birthday here a couple days ago. Our buddy, the Jet, Joe Allen. I see he was watching there over at Facebook. Hope he's still over there watching us. See his name pop up. Gonna wish you a belated happy birthday. Hope Joe is alive and well. And I know it's we've done a lot of work with him over the years, Blake. Both of us here with separate companies and stuff. We've worked all together in a company before. So friend of ours, Joe Allen. Wish him a happy birthday. Hope he's doing well. And gonna say congratulations, man. He got into the police academy. He starts here, I believe, in the next 2 weeks. So we wish him well with that. A colleague and a partner, and most of all, a good friend to us here at Full Velocity, Blake.
Oh, no doubt about it. We know Joe and the hard work he's put in to help build Full Velocity into what it is now, and very happy and proud to see him in the police academy. We know he's going to do great, so wishing him all of our best well wishes. We've elected to go to single file restarts. It'll still be Cookson leading the way, but the administrative staff here deciding, hey guys, we need to clean this up. They'll head single file this time into turn number 1 with Cookson still pulling this field with him. And there's trouble on the front straightaway. One car barely made it across the stripe here. Actually, it's 2 cars. One car didn't even make it across the stripe. The other one spun here on the front straightaway. So the yellow flag quick to be pulled once again. This time, it looks like Andrew McKenzie is a part of this. He got turned around on this restart. It looked like Glenn Pressel, he got some heavy contact. Flip count is at 1 as he rolled here on the front straightaway on his roof and wasn't able to get that thing turned over. So didn't even make it across the stripe, Phil. These guys went to single file restarts, and just looks like right now these drivers are just so aggressive on these restarts. They're just not giving a whole lot of room right now.
No, it's a lot of giving and not a lot of taking out. Or a lot of taking out, a lot of give, I should say. He's got a couple of cars all tore up. I did see Chris Forster's car just go behind the wall. Dylan Kopech, the number 6. Was really looking forward to watching Dylan out there tonight, too. Those are 2 guys I haven't seen out there in the modified world up here in the Northeast. Dylan Kopech, a part of the legendary Kopech family. Dad Chris was a longtime competitor on the NASCAR Wayland Modified Tour. Drove the number 16 for Flamingo Motorsports for a long time. Transitioned, I believe, into a car chief role with that team. Was driven by Timmy Salamito this last year. And unfortunately, you can report here in the last couple of weeks, the Flamingo Motorsports team owner closing the shop down here after this 2019 season. Guy who's been around the sport for a long time, 70 years old, said, I'm just slowing down. I'm running out of energy to still love the sport, but we're really going to miss the Flamingo team. I know, Blake, to me being a homer, bringing out that kind of stuff, but the Kopech name goes back with me early to my broadcast career, watching a guy like Dylan Kopech's dad, Chris, run for years on the Wayland Tour. Really cool to see Dylan out there tonight. Was really hoping to see him mix it up.
No doubt about it, Bill. It's great, we get to hear some of your experience, again, going back 10, 20, 30 years ago, just trying to enjoy what, I guess, I don't want to say left of the modified community, but continue to enjoy these guys that have still hung around in this community for so long, whether, it is in the real life racing world, I guess we'll put it over, or if it's over here on iRacing. That's a great thing about iRacing, though. These guys could come out here, run what's very close to these real life setups and cars, and probably the best thing about it, doesn't cost as much as a real race car. That's probably the biggest difference. And of course, these guys can come out here and enjoy it as well. But another couple names that are already a lap down after that wreck: Brad Carpenter, 1 lap down as he scored in the 25th position. Keith Jeffrey is as well. Bobby Rafferty. So a couple more guys that are not even on the lead lap. We're on lap 26, Phil, and we have 23 cars on the lead lap. I don't think that's what these guys wanted to see this early on.
No, and it's a tournament we use sometimes, behind the scenes and administration for leagues, and sometimes you got to go through it. And I unfortunately call it thinning the herd here. You get a big car count like this, you get a couple of guys that may drive over their head early, or guys a little bit inexperienced. you may have to get them kind of out of the racing surface, and they get involved in stuff, and it thins the crowd down a little bit. And more times than not, that equals some really good racing. So unfortunately here, congratulate East-West guys for getting 44 cars out here on a Wednesday night. That is a great feat for a special event like this one here tonight, the Mischief 125 at New Hampshire. But as you said, we got a lot behind the wall, and I think we're hovering around, about 25, 26 cars left on the lead, or 23 on the lead lap, I believe. Out of those, I think we got about 28 or 29 still out there making laps. So we've definitely thinned out a couple of them for sure, and I'm hoping that's not going to be the norm here this evening, because 27 laps in, 125 lap main event. The Magic Mile almost feels like the Monster Mile tonight, and that's appropriate to say because being Halloween tomorrow, I guess a monster kind of week.
Has been a bit of a monster type of week, no doubt about it, Phil. But let's go ahead and look forward. I think these guys ready to start. And again, of course, I keep saying this, and it doesn't really seem to come true. But I just think these guys went to single file restarts, and that hasn't really helped the issue here, and just trying to go down into turn one and just not wad it up, not wreck. So again, these guys just trying to put on a good show, obviously, over here at the Full Velocity Racing Network for the first time. I know that the guys that remain in this race are capable of putting on a great show, and I think, speaking of what you said, Phil, about thinning the herd, there's one thing about it: when you take away cars, that takes away the possibility of some wrecks happening. So I don't think we're too far off from it, but you also have to remember we still have a long ways to go in this thing. I think that's the one thing, if I'm race control over here, I'm stressing to these guys is, hey, we're on lap, 28 of 125 right now. We haven't even started to really sniff this race, barely a fifth of the way through, so plenty of time. Just have some give and take here, and let's try to put on a good show here for these fans.
Absolutely. This one, when it gets green flag laps clicking along, it'll go by in a blink of an eye, because you're going to think, we see a lot of the Cup cars at New Hampshire, now that's because of the limelight, but they get around here in about 31 and a half seconds here. Modifies, they're sub 30-second laps, so these things scream out there. We hope to see some really good racing as the iRacingIFlag.com green flag goes back in the air. Max Cookson leads them back to green. Brandon Wilkinson, Ryan Blanchard, Jason Perkins, and now Kyle Sousa's number 99. That's a newcomer to the top five. They're single file over to turn three.
Single file just trying to feel themselves out, but as you mentioned, a newcomer into the top five as Kyle Sousa has wheeled that number 99 Columbus Energy's car right into the mix of things here, just trying to feel things out. He started in the 18th position, and how about the guy right in front of him that he's going to start battling for the 4th position here in a moment? Jason Perkins started all the way back in 16th and starting to make some headway through this field. That's what you get with a lot of these races when you have a lot of yellows, that some of these guys who are able to just avoid the carnage, bide their time, they're able to find themselves with some good track position.
Absolutely right. And that Jay Perkins, over 49, running in the 4th spot. Guy really close to me, Montville, Connecticut. Kind of a little about half-hour drive down to Montville where Jay would be. He runs there. Spots are wanted. Number 49 running along in that 4th spot. He is under fire because Jay Sousa, that red number 99, he will look low. It is a drag race down the back stretch into turn number 3. Sousa's got position. Will he grab it, the spot over in turn 3?
Well, he's going to dive it all the way down below that kind of racing groove that we'll see here in New Hampshire. He's not able to get it done. He'll lose all this momentum on the straightaway as he does not quite have as much draft as that outside line does have, but we'll see it once again. Sousa down to the bottom near the apron. He'll get up into the racing groove. Can he clear him off the corner? He can't do it. 49 still hanging strong here, making this battle for 4th a really good one.
And that's what really shows, Blake. You put these big, wide, modified Tour tires on these cars in New Hampshire. Progressive banking, we don't talk nearly enough, and I know the Cup cars don't really do it justice, but these big, wide tire cars, you really see the transition here at New Hampshire. The low side's really good. You can keep all that momentum, use the banking to your advantage on the outside. It really makes for really two good lines of racing. We're seeing it right there. Sousa's going to have preferred line off the bottom, exiting corner, but you can see all the momentum that Perkins gains at number 49. Almost like dirt, you can get that thing wound up high. They continue side by side. Have a 3-car battle in the mix as well, because you've got that number 81 of Zach Burrick. He is right there as well. Great 3-car race for the 4th spot off of 2.
Great clean racing here. These guys giving each other plenty of room, but that allows Zach Burrick to catch up to these guys. And, you're going to see what he's trying to do. There's really nowhere that he can go right now. The track is entirely blocked unless he wants to make a 3-wide move here. However, completing that pass for fourth, Kyle Souza's going to get it done. Will Perkins make a move to the inside? Don't believe so. He's just going to tuck it in line and try to see if he can't make a run at him a little bit later. You saw what Burke was doing there. He was providing some draft to the bottom side so that Souza would have a little bit of an easier time getting around the 49, and so Burke can go up there and try to race with those guys. And just as we say it, another side-by-side battle, but it looks like right now Souza, he's going to try to eye and catch those top three that have driven away right now.
Yeah, they really have. Top three, Max Cookson, Brandon Wilkinson, Ryan Blanchard. They have put 2 seconds just about on this good race back here for fourth. You give it now to Souza there running in that 99 car. He's up to fourth. Perkins back in fifth. The good race has been right behind them for that sixth spot. Burke now under pressure from that Sherwood Industries number 40 car of Alex Krapser. That is a cool name to catch out there after years racing Alex over at Blazing Pedals back in NR 2003. Good to see Alex out there doing well, and he is giving that 40 car a heck of a ride. That's a great race for 6, door-to-door off turn 2.
Oh, no doubt about it, Phil. You and I both used to race with Alex Krapser back in the NR 2003 days, and good to see him out here running, trying to make a good battle right here. They get close on the exit of turn number 4 as Burke's able to move on by. I was really close there on the exit of those 2 tires getting locked up, and that's the one thing with these modifieds. When you get these tires and they hit each other, watch out because it can create some major carnage very quickly. But Krapser, he'll get a good exit off. He'll use that draft. What's he going to do with it? Not much. He'll just tuck it in line, and you see the huge runs that these guys get on the straightaways, but if you're not able to go in there and you think you have a chance of clearing the guy, you're just losing a lot of time. And if you look behind Krapser, he's got a mirror full of Tyler Chadwick, who's rebounding in this one. He doesn't want to let him by if he can't make that pass work.
And it's cool to call a name like Tyler Chadwick out there tonight. That number 09 running in the 8th spot. That's a guy, Blake, that I saw recently here over the last couple of years, a name that I see frequently over in the Sunoco Modified Series over at the Thompson Speedway, which is right in my backyard around the corner. It's cool to see a guy like that who races there weekly over the times there. Also made some laps in the Valenti Modified Racing Series up here in the Northeast. Also a couple of starts, I believe, on the NASCAR Whalen Tour. Cool to see Tyler Chadwick with the number 09 machine out there running in 8th, and it's a good race up there right ahead because you got Burke down there, number 81. He has had a terrific ride. Him and Jason Perkins, they have been putting on a dazzling race to that 5th spot, and Alex Traps is right there as well.
Well, it was Burke up in the front of this pack, or excuse me, it was Kyle Souza. He got into the outside retaining wall off the exit of 2. He got checked up a little bit. That's going to make it a side-by-side battle, 2x2 as they enter corner number 1. And once again, it's another battle for 4th between Souza and Perkins. Perkins, once again, utilizing that high side. Is he going to get it to roll through? He's going to have a little bit of momentum here, but this is exactly what you want to see if you're the guys behind. See these guys up front try and race, get stacked up, and allows you to catch them. But, man, Phil, we haven't really mentioned it, but those top 3, they have checked out right now, led by Max Cookson. Those top 3 have about 2.5 seconds over this pack that's racing from 4th through 9th.
Yeah, those 4th through 9th races by far the best pack on the racetrack to watch. But, yeah, as you said, Max Cookson out there was just lapping this field down. Those top 3 have pulled away. Last time around, to show you kind of the glimpse of what tire wear looks like over 40 laps after a couple of early yellow flags. Last time around, the race leader 30.201, so that's almost about 6 or 7 tenths slower than he did in qualifying. But Max Cookson leading the way over Brandon Wilkinson, Ryan Blanchard. They have got 3.5 seconds over this good race that we've been following. Back here for 4th on back between Perkins, Souza, Chadwick, Krapser, Burke there as well. Also got likes like Chris Hyatt, the number 12, rolling into the mix. Nathan Davis, another name up here I've got to know, number 36, he's rolling into the mix as well. That's the balance of a top 10. Top 3 have driven away this race for 4th. It is all mixing up over here. Great racing as we have a yellow on the speedway. Oh no. Great little green flag run there. Going to be interrupted by our 5th Hanover Record Service caution flag of the evening.
Oh, man, what a shame. I know anybody out there who's a fan of racing, you had to enjoy what you just saw. You know, hats off there to Kyle Souza, Jason Perkins, Tyler Chadwick, Alex Krapser. They gave us a great battle there for the good portion of about 20 laps to watch right there. Unfortunately, caution flag displayed once again, looking around the speedway, trying to see the cause of it, and it's hard to see
46, I believe. believe it was
Yeah.
a 46 of Jeffrey Stanton, Blake. I believe that's who I saw going through the standings. Usually that's a good barometer of somebody may have had some trouble. I haven't seen it yet. No, Jack's got a lot more cameras than we do up there to play with, so I will see if Jack can't put a BladeNo.com full velocity instant replay together. It's sometimes bad luck to be out there on the racetrack and have the last name of Stanton out here on the full velocity airwaves. I will tell you what,
Ooh.
it is Jeffrey Stanton at Napa Auto Parts number 46. His car went around, I believe. I see him coming down on pit road now, but I believe that was the caution flag subject there. So tough break for the 46, different number. But the Stanton name is something we know here at Full Velocity. He rode the wall. I hate it for Jeffrey. I've seen my partner Todd do it more times than not. I'll tell you that much.
Well, we know Stanton name on here, riding the wall. You think of dirt racing here on the Full Velocity Racing Network, but Jeffrey Stanton was battling for the 16th position with Keith Jeffrey, and kind of reminds me of Martin Truex Jr., I believe it was, at Richmond that climbed the wall and kind of kept it on going. Stanton, he got off the wall and was trying to keep it going straight, but it just gets your car so out of whack when you do that. He spins it out and fortunately can't hold the throttle down and keep it straight. It brings out the yellow flag for what was a good run for these guys, and I think Stanton will get that machine serviced here on pit road. He's still sitting down here, not gone a lap down yet, so perhaps some damage that he has to fix, but not enough that'll keep him a lap down. Actually, to say that, the pace car will go by and put him a lap down. So a couple of guys moving on here, but I think that shows you what we're capable of, Phil. If that is any indication here of what we're going to see the rest of this race, then by golly, we're in for a good one tonight, because that racing from 4th through 5th, or 4th through 9th rather, was pretty incredible and was just starting to look kind of back. There was another pack that was running about 10th through 14th that we had mentioned there just before that yellow flag was displayed. Some great battles all over this racetrack.
It really was awful fun to watch here live at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope, Blake, I know when I see a modified New Hampshire, I don't care if we sit here all night long and do this. So Jack would kill me for saying that, but God, this is a lot of fun for a guy like me who loves these cars. This is where I grew up. I live right in the heart of modified country, right here in Thompson, Connecticut, here at the legendary Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, right in my backyard, and I've got to see cars like this for years and years. So really cool to come out here with East West Promotions tonight. Got to say hello to our buddy Keith Jeffrey, who's out there aboard that number 88. Keith on the lead lap, running back there in 21st. I know being an administrator of one of these leagues and one of these races is certainly tough. He is doing a terrific job. I know we've had some rough riding early on, had some guys escorted out of the race server, but gotta say kudos to the gang over here at East West. An awesome event, and I think they put the faith back in the drivers, Blake. We're gonna go back to double file restarts. We'll see if we can't keep that good racing alive in this next run.
No, I applaud them for this move because, we didn't really have much better luck once we moved to single file racing the first couple of times. So I'll give my hat off to them, props to them. Try to put on the best show that they can, and we'll see what they can do. However, we look at the front of this field. We were kind of talking through some of these pit stops that we saw. Rick Webster and then Joseph Segala, they elected to stay out, so they'll be on old tires, so it should make things pretty interesting here. Early restart here, as it looks like Webster got away quickly. He knows those tires are going to hurt him. He wants to get as big of a lead as possible. As we go down into turn number 1, we'll see how these guys can hang on here and what Webster can do here on these old tires.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see as Rick Webster leads the field, number 18. Segala's number 39 lead us to the restart, but I think that's going to change here quickly. A guy like Jay Perkins, number 49, he restarted 5th. He is already up to the 3rd spot. I think that's a barometer that these new tires are going to really prevail over the old, and it's going to be Max Cookson's number 39. Look at that grip in the motor there. 39 car all the way from 3rd back up to the lead already. He came in for tires versus the call the 18 didn't make. I think evidence is right there. New skins matter.
Oh, it certainly does. You look back at Joseph Segala, he is getting eaten alive right now, all the way back to the 7th position, getting passed here once again. And really, you can see everybody behind him avoiding him like the plague. They do not want to be next to him. Oh, he gets a little bit of contact there from Tyler Chadwick. He has to check it up a little bit, but you kind of feel for guys like Kyle Souza that are right behind Segala. Kyle Souza has nowhere to go. He can't go to the bottom, and he's stuck behind Segala, who's plummeting through this field, Can he finally get back to the bottom and try to pass him? He will, but it's going to be 3 wide racing off of 2. Souza sticks it in the gas. He's able to clear it. They'll think better of it and try to get 2 wide racing here, but Segala falling through this field. Webster starting to get passed by a couple of cars as well, so no doubt about it, Phil. An interesting call by some of these guys to try to get track position. If they could grab a quick yellow, perhaps they can pit and take tires, but otherwise this is it's a pretty big gamble.
Oh, no, it certainly is. No doubt about it. And you got to like the call there for the Segala machine, but not going to really play out. It looks like he's a 77 now. Drop kick back to about almost 20th position out there. I want to give you some Segala information, but do not have him on my little sheet over here of all the great information these guys provided here tonight. But I was watching the 99 of Kyle Souza, another name up here in the Northeast that I know well, the Souza name. Somerset, Massachusetts, Bay State Sewage Disposal, KyleSouza.com. T4X machine, the number 99 Kyle Souza right now running really well, trying to rally his way back into the top 10. Started 18th, now runs in position 13. We saw him mixing it up inside the top 10, but we think about the early run, Blake. We had the top 3, Cookson, Wilkinson, Blanchard. They were separated after pit stops, but you know what? The top 3 have reasserted themselves. They're back nose to tail and beginning to pull away here from this race back here for 4th on back once again.
Starting to pull away, but I'm just not sure how much Cookson is going to be able to pull on these guys all by himself. Is obviously running in the lead. He's about a second ahead of Brandon Wilkinson just because he was able to get by some of the slower traffic, and Rick Webster a little bit quicker than these guys. But with how important the draft is, not sure how quickly he'll be able to pull away, but we'll put a pause on that. Yellow flag is out, and I believe they're still wrecking here. There's one car around on the back straightaway. There's a couple of cars around here right at the pit road entrance, right off the exit of turn number 4. So it looks like multiple accidents will be the culprit here as the caution flag comes out once again. Think it started with that wreck on the back straightaway, and then as the caution flag was displayed, looked like there was some extra activity here off the exit of corner 4. It took out or put 2 or 3 more cars in it.
Yeah, I believe you're right, and that'll give Jack a couple of different things to look at here with a BladeNo.com. Full velocity instant replay and all yellow flags here at the network, brought to you by Hanover Wrecker Service. They do a lot of great things for us here on the Full Velocity Racing Network, and a lot of the iRacing dirt community as well. I know we're on the dirt here about every night here in the Full Velocity Network, so I gotta say hello to Tyler and all the gang over there at Hanover Wrecker Service. Look them up on Facebook today. Great page to follow. So many great things going on. If you're in the West Virginia area, give a breakdown, need a tow, give those guys a call over at Hanover Wrecker. Also go over to Google.com if you could do him a favor. Go to Google, search up Hanover Wrecker. Let's get them up to the top of the search bar up there if we can. Great folks. Tyler Blankenship, a buddy of ours, does a lot of great things for us behind the scenes. Give those guys a shout over at Hanover Wrecker Service, the official caution flag sponsor of our good friends here at the Full Velocity Racing Network.
Well, Phil, and I think I found out what happened. It was all the way back here. It was Joseph Graff running in the 19th position. He's racing against Bobby Rafferty, who was in 25th, scored 2 laps down. Graff got very tight off the exit of corner number 2, and he checked up so bad. Unfortunately, Bobby Rafferty, nowhere to go. He gets tagged from behind by another driver who is just a victim of circumstance. That's Jim Caesar, who rolled right into that one. But then as those guys are wrecking, we have some more action here on the exit of turn number 4. It was actually Steven Rogers. He had moved his way all the way up into the 6th position. You see the yellow flag displayed. He checked up for that, and it was Justin Thompson who I guess just didn't anticipate them slowing down mid-corner that much. Thompson gets into the back of Rogers, turns him right in front of the pit road entrance, and then another car that gets tagged in that right behind them. It looks like Joe Lusk, actually, he's able to avoid it. So a little bit of carnage here. The yellow flag's displayed, and I guess that's just one of those things you have to be aware. Roll out of the throttle slow. You don't want to, I guess, pounce the brakes immediately after a wreck happens, and unfortunately that looks like what happened there, which caused 2 separate incidents here for this later Hanover Wrecker Service yellow flag.
Yep, sure did. As I put this on, I believe, yellow flag number 6. We're 55 laps in of 125. The lights still on the safety car out there as we parade around. I almost saying safety truck out here in iRacing. We've got the iRacing.com Chevrolet Camaro pace car out there. Cool to have a Camaro out there pacing it. 7 caution jacks. See, I got the scrap pad already done here. Throw it away, throw it on the floor. I can't do math. We've established that over the time here on the network, but looks like we're going to double up. Starting to put a clinch green flag down, so one more trip around the Magic Mile. 1.058 miles. I don't even got to look at my sheet. It says 1.06 up there. It's 1.058. That's what it's always been to me. I'm going to call it that forever. Don't .106 me. You round it up, you get 106. That's how you confuse us, Blake. Have the younger generation simplified things this far? Will we have to round everything up?
I guess that's just the way it happens here sometimes, but I think I'm going to go with you here, Phil, that no doubt about it. I think you're right. It's called the Magic Mile for a reason, but, you know, we can stretch that a little bit. Don't have to be as precise as, you know, .06 or .058, anything like that.
Now, what is a thousandth anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't blink that quick.
A thousandth of a mile. I've never heard it described that way, so...
For real, right? That's really insane. But we're doubled up. Max Cookson, Brandon Wilkinson, Ryan Blanchard, Jason Perkins, Jeffrey McConey going to make up our top 5 with Tyler Chadwick, Dave Bodio, Joe Luss, Steve Rogers, Kyle Souza make up the top 10. iRacingIFlag.com, green flag back in the air as we begin lap 57.
Once again, Brandon Wilkinson looks like he'll just kind of lift a little bit, pull in line right behind Max Cookson, who has led pretty much the entire race tonight, aside from a late restart, or this last restart rather, where Webster elected to take tires. It'll be interesting to see some of those guys, though, as I believe Webster and the other car that stayed out there, Segala, may have come by pit road this time. They may actually have fresher tires than the rest of this field, which, you know, we have a little over 60 laps to go on the board, so it could be an interesting little storyline to follow if these guys continue to move their way up through the field. Change for the 4th position, though. Tyler Chadwick, he moves his way on by of Jason Perkins. So Chadwick has had a march through this field over that last run, started in the 23rd position, and he's found his way all the way up to the top 5.
Yeah, it really has. Tyler Chadwick giving the 09 a really good ride up there now into the top 5, and I believe he's going to be a guy that probably going to be a player in the second half of the race as we work our way down to the turn number 1 and 2. Cookson continuing to lead and trying to look for something happening here. I got to say, the Dave Bodio, number 16, the winningest driver here at the East West Motorsport crew with 11 wins to his career win total. He has moved his way, Blake. He was one lap down in that little green flag spurt we had. Lucky Dog gets him back, fresh tires. Dave Bodio now rebounded up into the 6th position, so that 16 car, he is on the move as we get single file down into 1. I believe thought Wilkinson was going to take a peek down to Cookson over there in 1, but they'll think better of it. Nose to tail, not a bad time to stay in line here and walk some laps. 60 laps in, we're barely approaching halfway. We're just approaching halfway now. We've got a lot of racing left to go.
We certainly do, and I was going to mention Bodio here in just a moment because, like you said, Phil, was a lap down earlier and is just scorching his way through this field, much like Chadwick. They're going to try to make this a 5-car battle for the lead, and luckily not a whole lot of carnage causing some separation just yet, so I think if Chadwick and Bodio can sort themselves out here, they can make this about a 5-car breakaway for the lead. And obviously, again, with how important the draft is here, you want to kind of keep the distance here and make sure you keep your tabs on that top 3, because if you can catch that draft and really run those guys down, that'll definitely be important. But we'll have to talk about that later. Caution flag displayed once again, and I believe it is on the exit of turn 2. There's one car there running in the inside part of the infield there on the grass section. It's Trent Goodrow who emerges from that accident, and it looked like, and I think we're hearing from our producer Jack, that it was just a selfie as he went around, got a little bit loose off of corner number 2, barely backs it into the inside wall, so not too much harm done, but it'll bring the yellow flag, Hanover Wrecker Service yellow flag, out for the 8th time this evening.
And this is what I'm going to do with this one. What we always do on the network, I know we sponsor the yellow flags. We got a lot of things sponsored, like the Turtle, the aerial coverage, quick time. I think we're going to invite a company out there to come and sponsor the Full Velocity Selfie, because that's what we did right there with Trent Goodrow's number 31. He goes around all by himself, pull the selfie stick out. Hey, Trent Goodrow wanted some TV time. You got it now. Not the way you want to do it there with the selfie, but a yellow flag on the speedway. Another car I saw roll away slow there as well was Chris Hyatt in the number 12. And I look on my sheet, Blake, and I see all the names of familiarity here to me in the Northeast. Chris Hyatt from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the Worth Simcro machine. Winston-Salem, not too far from your neck of the woods. You got a Carolina boy to root for.
Oh, no doubt about it. And then when you look at this field, not a whole lot of Carolina guys to root for. We're definitely outnumbered by all those New Englanders that have decided to come in here tonight. And you got to think about it. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, modifieds. What's the one thing that comes to mind? Well, Bowman Gray Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, and I'll just say different type of racing than what these guys are used to. More than likely, but still something that comes to mind. Even though, thankfully, here I think we're a little bit cleaner here than Bowman Gray. We're not going backwards on the track under yellow, trying to hunt guys down and kill them. So,
I'll tell you why you're right. And that's because, have you ever seen a reality show about modifieds at New Hampshire, modifieds in Connecticut, anywhere? No. There's nothing like the madhouse, the Bowman Gray Stadium. That is why they get a TV show. That is why these guys are legendary. And when you get guys like the Junior Millers and the Burt Myers of the world, Jason Myers, you get all those guys out together, Tim Browns, all those great names down there. That is just, it don't get no better than modified racing at Bowman Gray Stadium. So I'm hoping, Blake, during the summertime, you're taking some racing in out there, because that is on the bucket list of places that I've never been to. And it was just love to experience just this live in person, the atmosphere. One time. I can't imagine there's much you can duplicate that with.
No, certainly. And it's kind of interesting because Bowman Gray, I don't know how many people know this, obviously is a football. I mean, I think most people know that it's a football stadium as well. But if you look at the football games that are played there, the crowds, not near what they get for the racing down there. I remember I went to the season finale, I guess is what you could call it, not this past summer. But back in 2018, Burt Myers won the championship, and it's definitely an experience. You have to go at least one time to try and take it all in it. And I'll say one thing, it's different. For some people, it'll suit them because it's just entertainment on a Saturday night. But for a guy like me that just wants to go out and see some great racing and see guys, race each other hard and clean and all that, you get some hard racing there, but some of the actions there, just a little bit too much for my taste. But obviously everybody has a different opinion on that. But when guys are running around under a yellow flag and having to dodge people and then running into guys that are in the race because they're trying to avoid somebody hitting them under yellow, that's kind of where I draw the line. But again, everybody has a different opinion.
I tell you what, if you're going to go to Bowman Gray expecting to go to racing, you might as well just throw out the window, because sometimes you go to a race and a wrestling match breaks out, and that's one of the things I love about that place. Would love to take a visit there one day. If I ever just get out of the Northeast and just take a travel out there, I think one day maybe I'll do it. I'm broadcasting about every night, so maybe one day I can get maybe a GoFundMe page, send Phil on vacation somewhere. We'll talk about it another time. We have racing to get to here. iRacing, iFlag, green flag back in the air, and Dave Bodio, the number 16, he is going to assume the restart lead with Joe Lusk, another new name up there, the top 5, the number 20. They're nose to tail off of 2.
Yeah, definitely some split pit strategies here. And then we saw some guys like Ryan Blanchard had some trouble entering his pit stall. Oh, and there's big trouble here at the exit of turn number 3 and 4. 4, 5, 6 cars involved here on the outside retaining wall. Ricky Webster is involved. Ryan Blanchard, we were just talking about him. He gets involved in it as well. It looks like it revolved around Joseph Graff once again here. Was staying out on old tires, and looks like he made a 3-wide move. He bounced off of the number 2 car of Brandon Wilkinson, and it looks like he just took a couple of cars with him. Several cars, heavy damage here. The 24 car of Jeffrey McConey, he gets kind of turned and airborne as well. Another car that comes barreling in after that was Scott Bryant. He has heavy damage on his number 38 machine, as that one is smoking. So it looks like that all centered around Joseph Graff, and just another 3-wide move. The second one that he's made tonight that was a little bit questionable. He doored somebody, I guess if you can call it dooring here in a modified car. That's pretty much what happened. And just nowhere for these guys to go, because he has a whole host of guys right behind him who have fresh tires. They're looking to get around this slower traffic. There's just nowhere to go. So real unfortunate circumstances here for a lot of these guys.
Really was, and it was some Nerf bar to Nerf bar racing down there on the straightaways. They got into each other, and yeah, it was a wild ride for a couple of guys out there. As we under the yellow flag, we are halfway home, past halfway, 68 laps of 125. We're going to take a quick break here on the network, grab a drink, settle back in, and get ready to take you through the second half of the Mischief 125. East-West Productions here, live on the Full Velocity Racing Network, your source for esports racing. right, Jack says it's time to go here with the one to go on the Speedway, and we're going to go back to it live as we get Dave Bodio, Joe Lust, Nathan Davis, Steve Rogers, Alex Krapser, Brad Carpenter, Kyle Souza, Max Cookson, Brandon Wilkinson, and Jason Perkins. Going to be our top 10 as we get ready to go for restart 70 laps here of 125 at the Magic Mile. Welcome you all watching here tonight via the Full Velocity Racing Network, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch TV, all rolling tonight for the guys at East West Promotions. Off turn number 4, we get the iRacingIFlag.com green flag back in the air. Dave Bodio going to lead the field to the green flag down to turn 1.
He's leading them down to the field, but 3 wide here as we enter turns 1 and 2. They're going to shuffle themselves out. Again, we were talking about this under the break. A lot of these guys looking to make some quick moves here. Guys like Max Cookson, he knows he has fresh tires, how hard it is to pass here. A little bit of contact here up for the 3rd position between that 14 car, or actually, excuse me, the 36 car Davis and the 9 of Rogers. They're able to sort it out, though. But Cookson, he's obviously looking to get back to the front of the field. He's going to use the outside lane to try to get around that 40 car, and looks like it's pretty successful. I think we're going to see a lot of these guys on fresher tires. They're going to be able to make some hay through this field, but right now Cookson, he's stuck in the 6th spot.
Sure is, but he's to the high side. He's got Alex Krapser down low, and now we're going to take a look at a Black Diamond machine in front of him. I believe that's the number 6 car, 36 car of Nathan Davis. We're going to slow it back down because we have yellow flag back on the Speedway. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Lap number 72. We will slow it back down and cue up Jack with another BladeNo.com full velocity instant replays. We look around the 1.058 mile New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and I believe this one may have caught. I believe I see Brad Ringer, the number 4. I believe may have had a piece of this one.
Brad Ringer was involved in it as well, but it started with some contact between Tyler Chadwick and the 13 car of Brad Carpenter. Carpenter was running in the 8th position at the time, and it looked like Carpenter running side by side with a much faster Brandon Wilkinson, who was on the bottom side looking to get by on fresh tires. Carpenter was surrendering that spot, checked up a little bit, and was going to try to get back in line. Unfortunately, I just don't think he saw that 09 of Tyler Chadwick right behind him. So Chadwick sends him to the outside retaining wall. Another car is caught in and as well, trying to slow down as Jason Perkins didn't make contact with anybody. He makes contact with the outside wall, and then just behind them, Brad Ringer, he's just trying to steer clear of everything. He just safely spins it to the inside and avoids all carnage there. So no harm done there for that Red Bull number 4 machine. But once again, another caution flag out here.
And I'll tell you what, 4 car, I know a guy who drives a 4 car, and if they wrecked in front of that guy, I bet he'd probably hit the brakes and spin around safely, just like Brad did right there. So, Brad Ringer, good job from one 4 car to another. We know how to spin the right way. I'll tell you what, great job by you. The good news for him, unlike me, Blake, he didn't hit nothing. I'd probably hit something and probably hit it hard.
Oh, no, he just, that's actually one kind of just interesting thing about the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You look pretty much anywhere but the front straightaway, there's a lot of runoff area. Turns 1 and 2, there's a ton until the very exit of the corner. Back straightaway, there's a lot of room down there in the grass. Obviously, once you get towards turn 3, you have a portion of the road course that comes into play. And there's a lot of just a bit of a safe area there in 3 and 4, especially with these modifieds. It's not like you're going to go in the grass and put the nose, into the ground like you see with the Cup cars. You can just go over there, kind of slide over the grass, and if you want to come in and get fresh tires, well, you can do that.
Sure can. As I'm over here, I'm communicating a little bit over on the Facebook Live chat of things, so you were out there as well, clicking in here to YouTube. And also, we got some viewers over on Twitch tonight as well, so good to see Twitch out there alive and well, and a couple of guys straggling in over there and following us, and really do appreciate all you guys and what you do, and letting the group know out via Facebook. We're still live over here at New Hampshire. Come on over aboard and enjoy great racing with the Whalen Modified Tour here for the East West Promotions Group. Check these guys out on Facebook. They got put together a lot of cool events here, and I believe we start up next week with this group. Well, not us, but they go back to racing, going back to our normal time slot on Thursday night, the Modified Tour over here. First race taking off of the Stafford Motor Speedway. Talk about a place that is deeply trenched in history. I know it's a place in lore in the NASCAR world, not only in the modified world, but guys like Kevin Harvick will throw sponsorship weekly out with the SK Modified division up there still. So a lot of the guys that call the Northeast talk with Modifieds, they look no further in the SK division at Stafford Motor Speedway. One of the coolest joints in all this country, Blake. You ever get up here? I know I live in Thompson, talk about that a lot, but the atmosphere at Stafford, the driver count there, the way they do things, the Root family that's been around the sport forever, great people, tremendous joy, and it's cool to see the acclaim it gets from it, because a lot of the NASCAR world, even guys like Ryan Preece, a guy now a NASCAR star, a guy who started the Stafford Motor Speedway for years.
No doubt about it. You hear about Stafford and all these great tracks around the country, that there's just certain tracks that have a great culture and have some great people running them, where you think of Stafford or a track, say like South Boston Speedway or Thompson in your backyard. There's just a lot of great tracks that put on a lot of great racing, have a lot of great people running it, and that obviously is kind of why things work out. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, as Dave, that 16 car of Dave, he's going to lead us into turn number 1 here. He's held the lead ever since staying out on that strategy, and boy, doesn't he get a launch up off the corner. Oh, but big trouble here in turn number 2, and then there's another car around on the back straightaway into the inside retaining wall. So we have multiple accidents here, one car into the outside of turns 1 and 2, and then as the caution flag comes out, somebody spins off the nose of another modified, and boy, have we got some carnage here. That one on the back straightaway, it looks like Kyle Souza, unfortunately, gets tagged, and then in turns 1 and 2, it looked like Alex Krapser was involved in that, and of course we'll get some more information there as Jack shows you guys the replay. But Phil, just some guys that were having some great nights, and again, these restarts are so aggressive. These guys not cutting any slack right now, and unfortunately it's going to keep putting cars behind the wall tonight.
It certainly will, and I think what we'll see there in the replay, and I know Jack will be able to confirm this here in a second when he shows it off, I believe there was a couple of cars looking to make it 3 wide, and I think 2 cars kind of met in the middle trying to get to the hole, and I think they met there. That's what set that ride off turn number 2, and I believe that's the rationale that put us under the yellow flag. As I'm trying to take a peek back at it, you get through it a little quicker here than I do. I think the 4 car of Brad Ringer got a piece of the action there. You said Kyle Souza was over there as well, and I believe Zach Burrick's number 81 may have been back there as well. So we get a couple of cars around, and then he's a 1 car on the inside wall. I believe it was Alex Krapser. He takes quite a hit off the back stretch in the inside wall and turn off the back straightaway. And it's not safe for barrier down there, Blake. You hit down there in the infield at New Hampshire, that's a hard hit. I am sure Alex's car is all tore up. I hope it's okay, because I've seen people hit that wall before. We forget, we take for granted the safer barriers out there. I tell you what, we've kind of forgotten how concrete can take advantage of a race car, and I've seen many stock cars taken out there, and modifieds at that place, it's real sketchy, because you look at the way these things are open wheels, there's not a whole lot of protection for those drivers in there. Thank God for the safety measures we've taken.
No doubt about it, Phil. Although I'm going to counter your point a little bit, and I am not going to argue against safer barriers or anything safety-wise to help make these race tracks better to protect these drivers. But this is sim racing, you know. If you crash a car here, you're not going to be sore the next day, not going to have to worry about, breaking a rib or anything like that, whether it's, like Kyle Larson at Talladega or just any regular injury that any short track racer would have, any stiffness or soreness after an accident. I'd go as far to say that certain tracks that do have safer barriers in sim racing, I'd say take them out. You get more racing surface without them in, but of course, this is about realism, and obviously in the sim you want everything to be as realistic as possible, but I'd kind of have a counter argument for that in sim racing, those safer barriers that, kind of cut off your exit a little bit here in New Hampshire, it might just be good to kind of do away with those things, because as far as sim racing goes, they don't really help out too much.
All right, I'm going to tell you what. We always debate race car drivers, athletes or not. They certainly are. Sim racers, I guess we kind of are. I guess how young you are. I'm sure you're still feeling pretty spry, just out of college, feeling good, still young. A guy like myself, a guy like Jack, we sit in these chairs for 2 hours and drive and wrestle. I don't care what we hit or not hit. I know my back's pretty sore. I know my leg's sore. Exactly. Jack's saying he's sore. I'm sore. It hurts. I don't care what we hit. I'm still hurting when I get out of this chair.
Well, I'm telling you what, if I didn't race like, Ryan Newman on steroids, probably just leaning over a steering wheel, I probably wouldn't be sore. I mean, I'm never usually sore after a race, but I think part of that is just my posture. I mean, if you've ever seen Ryan Newman's in-car, you know the type of posture he races with, and that's basically how I race. Leaned all over the steering wheel, right up on it. So maybe as I get a little bit older here, I need to make sure I keep doing stretches or something, because eventually I think my back's not going to take too kindly to that as I get a little bit older.
I'll tell you what, Blake, Father Time waits for no man. And Jack and I will speak from experience, and Jack a little more than me, but I know I just hit 40, and I feel like I'm 90 half the time, so who says we're not athletes out here? Maybe even the broadcasters could be as well. As we go back to racing, iRacingIFlag.com, green flag in the air. We've impacted a single file restart on lap number 82, and we got a great group for the top three: Dave Bodio, Joe Luss, Steve Rogers. But keep an eye on the fastest car here tonight in Loudon, New Hampshire. That 39 of Max Cookson. He is rolling fourth, and he is looking for running room. He is down low under the 9 car. Rogers went door-to-door off turn number 4 for third.
Door-to-door, and it looks like Cookson just able to roll through so well on those better BF Goodwrench tires that he has. No good years out here on these modifieds, and Cookson able to make the move. He's going to clear that car into turns 1 and 2, move Cookson up to the 3rd spot as he moves past Rogers, and he's going to take no prisoners now, eyeing Joe Lusk, trying to move into that 2nd spot.
Yeah, Joe Lusk doing a good job there in the 20, but he's going to hold off that 39. That may be a tall task at all. I look over here, I see Bill Carey over on Facebook Live watching. Bill, thanks for checking in the chat. This is 42 car from 30th to 10th. Sure is. Justin Carey doing a heck of a job out there in the 42, currently running back there now in the 13th position, but having a great run from that 30th starting position. That's passing a lot of cars. You got to have a lot of talent to do that. Justin Carey's number 42 doing a heck of a job, Bill. Thanks for checking in, letting us know that as we try to keep tabs on everybody out here around the field. As we got 44 cars started, still we got 20 plus left on the racetrack, and this race for the lead will now race for second. A good one because Cookson down low. We got Joe Lusk in the 20 car up high. Drag racing down to the turn 1 for the race for second.
Well, got to imagine that Joe Lusk going to do all he can to help out his teammate. Those similar paint schemes kind of give it away that Joe Lusk not going to race him dirty, but he's not going to make it easy for Cookson, because he knows as soon as Cookson gets into that 2nd spot, it's only going to be a matter of time before he's right up on the bumper of that 16 machine that continues to lead this field. So a nice solid job there by Lusk, as he's going to use the draft and a little bit of that high side to just kind of hold Cookson in check for just a little bit and try to make him really use those tires to go around and try to challenge for that lead. A solid job by these General Tire cars up here, try to work together, make it hard for new tires to try and come up and lead this field once again.
Yeah, they certainly are making hard work there for Cookson, Dave Bodio, Joe Lusk leading the field. Max Cookson there for third. Race back here, so the 4th spot between Steve Rogers and the number 9. The deuce of Brandon Wilkinson. He is down low. That thing is rolling. That's a good side-by-side duo over there in 3 and 4, racing for 4th.
Well, it is, and actually we're just going to go ahead and give Brandon Wilkinson that 4th spot as he's able to make his way by Steven Rogers. Wilkinson, a car that was pretty much running right behind Cookson all night before we got shaken up on strategy. So Wilkinson looking to try to make his way up to that top 3. Cookson, I think, is just biding his time. He knows he has a little bit better of a car. That's one thing you can do here. Try to hope that these guys get strung out, and all he has to do is wait for one mistake out of Joe Lusk. Lusk, with the older tires, he's got to be flawless up here to try to hold off Cookson. So if you're Cookson, just wait for him to make that mistake, and that pass will be made pretty easy.
Yeah, he's doing a great job up there, as is looking at a guy, the 98, Justin Thompson, now trying to cling his way to the top 5. The Down and Dirty Show, powered by Polaris RZR, General Tire, Gibson Exhaust, Jim Beaver Esports Machine from Fairmouth, Georgia. The driver, car number 98, Justin Thompson, now to the inside of Steve Rogers in the number 9 that's racing on for the 5th spot. Give it to 98 car as they continue to drag race down. Wilkinson, he's going to take a peek down low. He got wicked loose off turn number 2, but looks like he's got position. Give Brandon Wilkinson 3 as we hit turn 3.
Well, it looks like Joe Lusk was hanging around on the outside. Cookson thought that he had Lusk cleared there for the 2nd position. Lusk was still holding strong on the outside, so Lusk gets put into the outside wall. A little bit of damage on that 20 machine. Not sure if Lusk is going to be too happy about that. Cookson, rather, is going to make that way pass for 2nd. Wilkinson, he'll take charge of that 3rd position. But I got to imagine Joe Lusk not very happy with getting run into the wall right there. Thought he was running Cookson pretty clean there, and unfortunately Cookson just thought he had him cleared off of 2 and didn't quite have it.
No, it did not. Joe Luss of the Jersey Shore there in Pennsylvania. Sure, a little bit hot under the collar board. Car number 20, but holding on to the fourth spot over teammate Justin Thompson right behind. But Dave Bodio continues to lead. And the guy who's the winningest driver over here at East West Promotions now may have his hands full because Max Cookson's number 39. He's run him down to about, call it 3 car lengths over in turns number 1 and 2 as we work off the east end of the speedway. That 39, it seems like a really good run off the corner. I think the tire's a little bit fresher there. Off of 4, you see it down to 2 car lengths as we head toward turn 1. We may have a race to a lead brewing here in these next few circuits.
No doubt about it, and Cookson can just look at the leaderboard. Lap 92 of 125, still plenty of time, over 30 laps to go, so he knows he was about a tenth faster that last time, a 999 or for that 16 machine, and a 842 for Cookson that time, and you can see just how much better he's able to roll through the center of that corner. So Cookson, there's one of two things he can do. He can just be patient and wait for that 16 car to eventually just not be able to put up a fight any longer, or he's going to try to take that lead now, because if a caution comes out, it's going to make it really peculiar, because if both these guys pit, then you give Bodio all that track position and equal tires. So it just depends on what Cookson wants to do. If he thinks we're going to go green, I would just wait for that 16 car to slip up, but it looks like he's a race car driver. He wants the lead right now.
Sure does. He wants to go, and he's going to try to do it there. 39 pulling right up back to the 16 as we watch a race for the lead. We also forget, Blake, there was a car up there a little while ago, the number 9 machine, the 09 of Ryan Blanchard. He was one of the top 3 fastest cars on the racetrack. Well, some damage to that car from an earlier incident. Unfortunately for a guy like Blanchard, who was up there mixing it up early, was really fast. Behind the wall, night is over. Just wanted to update that. We didn't get to touch on that through the break. So Ryan Blanchard, a guy we thought was going to be a contender, not going to see the end of this thing. 94 laps in as Cookson has run Bodio down. He is right there, almost a touch to that chrome horn up front to let Dave know, hey, I am there. We're definitely racing for the lead now off of 2.
We certainly are, and Cookson looks like able to get a comparable exit to Bodio right there. Bodio going to move down a little bit to try and block a run for Cookson as they head into 3 and 4. Cookson going to try to get a run off, but a nice solid job there by Bodio. He gets a little bit sideways, but still able to block that run. And you'll see here, this is what Bodio is able to do. He knows that he's not quite as fast, but they're going to try to make it 3 wide here as they move past the lap traffic of Joseph Segala. But Cookson, he just gets too loose there on the bottom. So this is what Bodio is going to have to do for quite a while right now if he's going to want to hold this lead. He's just going to have to be really consistent, make the right moves, cut down a little bit, I wouldn't say block Cookson completely, but just not give him an entry into the corner. And obviously Cookson looks like he's having a little bit of trouble on the bottom side of the racetrack. So as long as Bodio can hold his track position, he can make it really difficult on Cookson to make a pass here.
Oh, he really can. And think about the way this track now has changed, and now close to 100 laps of racing out here at New Hampshire. And you think about it, the progressive banking now, these big wide tires. Look at the way that darkened groove there in the middle. It's all dark. You look down to the low side where Cookson was trying to make the pass. Well, it's pretty gray down there. A flatter transition to the banking. Something we've seen the Cup cars really excel at over the years is really having to run that low side. It really shows the way the progressive track states out here in iRacing really takes suit. And Dave Bodio right now, maybe not the faster car though, between him and Cookson, but using all the real estate, going to make Cookson earn it down low, and not an easy place to get traction down to that low side when that gray stuff where the groove is really a groove higher than that low lane.
It is. Well, and I think this just speaks to iRacing for those of you not as familiar with it. This track state and what iRacing can do is you can choose how worn you want the track when you start the practice session. When practice started tonight, those grooves were completely clear, so there was no rubber down, no barbels up in the top of the corners. There was nothing. But if you look in the corners right now, you can see the rubber being laid down, and that's all a product of these guys running on it. That's how in-depth this sim has gotten over the years, that you can see the racing groove that these guys are utilizing here at New Hampshire, and it resembles, what the modifieds would do in real life. As we have another battle for the lead here. Cookson trying to complete the pass. He's going to roll through the center. Nice job there by Bodio to get him on exit. They'll be side by side, and let's see what this lap traffic does. This could be really interesting as they go into 3 and 4. And they're going to get together. Bodio's going to slide a little bit. He's going to be able to save it as Cookson went down to the bottom. Great job there by Bodio as he's able to save that race car. Now Wilkinson's going to try to pounce, but man, with that lap car, it got really interesting. But Cookson, again, taking no prisoners this time. He's going to get a lead, and unfortunately, I think for Bodio, he's not going to be able to get back to him. He's likely going to check out a little bit here.
I will tell you what, that was one heck of a save, that number 16 car. I will tell you what, a lesser driver would have held on to that one, but it almost felt like we were on dirt there for a second. Right rear tire elbowed out, real sideways off, kept his foot somehow in the throttle, didn't lose much time, lost position, but you know what? Turnabouts could be fair play. Well, Chromehorn could come to play here later as we're 102 laps on the board. We're under 25 laps remaining, so there's still a lot of time left to go. So Bodio may return the favor to Cookson if he can get there. And don't count out that number 2 car of Wilkinson, too. That thing is really quick. He rides third, nose to tail for the time being down in turn 3.
I was about to say I was totally wrong about the capabilities of this 16 car. He's able to keep pace, and obviously with this draft is not going to allow Cookson to get away too easily. Again, but that's one thing you put in the memory bank. If you're a guy like Dave, who thinks he was run a little bit ragged right there on that move, he feels like Cookson could have made it a little clean. Still got 22 laps left in this thing. You never know that if he keeps that in the back of his mind, what he'll try to do if we kind of run this thing out and get towards the last few laps. I think you're right, that chrome horn may come into play just a little bit. So that's just one thing that Cookson's going to have to watch out for, maybe plan for as we continue to move forward here. But I think it's about time we could try to give a full race. Ooh, let's not try to do that. Another battle for the lead, perhaps maybe a little bit of contact there off of 1 and 2. These guys putting on a whale of a show. They're going to move by lack traffic here in Goodrow in 3 and 4. But, man, these guys, these top 2, they're really getting after it.
They really are. This is really fun to watch. If this does not make you excited as a pavement racer, as an open wheel modified enthusiast, there is nothing that's going to really, get your pulse out there. For dirt guys like Todd that may not find this exciting, well, I don't know what he's talking about, because this is cool to watch here. Great racer lead. Bodio, Wilkinson up there now. Justin Thompson back there as well. What has happened to the Cookson? No, he's up there in the lead. I lost it out of my hair. Had my relative kind of pulled down too far. Cookson is up front. Bodio going to take a peek down low once again, and he's there to the left rear. We may have a little drag race for the lead off of turn number 4. Dave Bodio, he's there to the low side. He's definitely there. We're side by side down to the turn 1.
We are. Is he going to try to clear that 39? Not quite. Good job there by Cookson, hanging strong on the high side. Cookson gets a little squirrely off of turn 1 and 2. Bodio's going to have the momentum, and I think he's going to be able to clear him here in 3 and 4. Just has to go a little deep, but wow, Cookson's able to pinch him down, and oh, this is great action. Great job there by Cookson. They're about even off the corner. There you see Cookson will use a little bit of the draft off the lap car. Bodio, all he's got to do is clear him, pull a slide job almost, if you will. He's able to do it right there. He clears Cookson, and Cookson with the Crocs over. He's a little loose on the banking change. Able to make it work, though, but you look right ahead, there's 2 lap cars, so Bodio going to have to make something try and work. He's going to try to go to the bottom side now. Cookson going to try to get a runoff, and it's close. Oh, man, this is some great action here.
Oh, man, watching the way to work the lap traffic. I was going to say, we were just here a little bit ago with Bodio trying to work his way around a lap car, get cut up the racetrack by the 39. I thought they may return the favor there, but now the top 3 does clear the traffic. Cookson got loose. Wilkinson's 2 car. He's to the back end of the 39. He's going to push him down off into turn 3.
Yes, he is, man. What a job here by that 16 car. Older tires and is able to make a pass. Once he gets worked by, he's able to slowly work on Cookson, who's starting to lose a little bit of the handling of that race car as it's starting to get a little bit slideways off the corner. Fantastic job there by the 16, but then you just see that run that Cookson gets rolling through the center of the corner. He's able to pull all the way back up to that 16 car. So, man, these guys are going to keep putting on a show for us here, but I'm telling you what, do not count out Brandon Wilkinson. He's watching these guys throwing some haymakers right now, racing each other hard, sliding a little bit. Don't be surprised if that 2 car is just kind of sitting there grinning back there in the 3rd spot, just waiting for somebody to slip up, perhaps saving his tires a little bit and thinking, hey, you guys keep duking it out for about 10 more laps, and I'll see you guys with 5 to go.
I'm going to tell you what, and I'm going to say, Blake, we talk about these top 3 as Cookson comes back to the low side. Looking for the racing. The second I want to get away from this top 3 and they get back to it, Cookson can wash up the track. almost catching the left front of Bodio. It's going to open the door for Wilkinson possibly to look to the low side of the 16. They go back in line, and now we got lap traffic up ahead. If Bodio's got one of the memory bank, Blake, you think he's probably going to use it in the closing 15 laps of this race as we got more lap traffic up ahead. You got to imagine he's got that in the back pocket now. Max, I may owe you one next time. I'm curious to see how we work this traffic in these remaining 15 laps.
Oh, he does owe him one as he gets into the back of him, and they'll make it side by side off of 3 and 4. I'll tell you what, Bodio, he's a racer, and racers never forget. Oh, they're going to make contact here on the front straightaway. Still going to be clean, though, as they go down into 1. Bodio going to be able to make the move. Not quite clear him, though. Will Bodio try to return the favor? He feels like on corner exit he's been run into a couple of times. Oh, and they hook each other. Bodio, Cookson around here on the back straightaway. Caution flag is out, and both our leaders for the good portion of this night have just decided, you know what, guys, I've had enough of you. I'm going to put you into the wall. Wow, Phil.
Wow. That's all I can say there. Wow, good, clean, hard racing, and that just took a wrong turn right there. Yellow flag on the racetrack. Lap 113, and I think the picture will tell the entire story there. The seas parted right in front of Bander Wilkinson, who's now going to assume the race lead. Justin Thompson up to second. I was going to mention him and Keith Jeffrey were having a heck of a race back there for the 4th spot, but we could not get away from the action of the top 3, and I'm glad we didn't because contact there between the race leaders with Bodio's number 16 and the 39 of Cookson. Man, I can't believe it. As clean as those guys are being working traffic, you had to imagine something was eventually going to give. And unfortunately, looks like both cars no worse for the wear in this one.
No, certainly not. And the one guy that we were talking about just before that all came to fruition, Brandon Wilkinson, looks like clearer minds prevail as he was thinking, you know what, I'm going to just let these guys duke it out, get a little bit frustrated with each other, and then once they kind of clean each other out, I may try to run away with this thing. And it looks like that strategy may well have worked here as Bodio and Cookson up front for a good portion of this night. And again, just hard racing here, but it looks like they overdid it just a little bit as Bodio, he's going to come down and get some fresh tires, try to fix that race car. Cookson's actually going to stay out. But we were talking about it on the exit of that turn. Bodio felt like that he had run the 39 clean, that the 39 wasn't clear a couple of times, and then he ran up into the 16 on exit. Bodio put that in the memory bank, and I think you saw it right there on the exit of turn 2 that Bodio remembered, hey, if you think, if you want to clear yourself, I'll clear myself, but unfortunately he did that on the straightaway, and Cookson wasn't lifting. So both cars are worse for the wear, like you said, for it, but man, what a battle we saw tonight. And unfortunately, I was going to say the same thing. There's been some fantastic battles all over this racetrack. There's just been some great racing here. Unfortunately, we just couldn't take our eyes off the lead. I know Full Velocity Racing Network, we want to cover the entire field, but man, it's just hard to turn your head away when those guys are racing that hard for what could be a win here at New Hampshire.
I'll tell you what, we pride ourselves here at Full Velocity to making sure we take it through the entire field. There's great racing. We would want to try to get to it, but yeah, like you said, they're racing the top 3. If something was a break there, we did not want to miss it, and I'm glad we didn't get away from that because that was a lot happening right there and a lot to say. So you guys thinking we're just covering the leaders? Well, when a great race like this breaks out, you kind of have to. You're kind of stuck in that box. I want to give a shout to all these guys out there. Been a lot of fun. The chat box, you guys have been awesome out there watching, but Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch TV with 10 laps remaining. First time out here, modifieds in New Hampshire. I'm feeling kind of froggy. Who is going to win this thing? Who is going to be the guy in victory lane? Everybody out there watching, who's it going to be to take up a checkered flag here tonight, live in New Hampshire? Blake, I'll give it to you. Give us our first prediction of the night. Who is going to victory lane?
Well, I hate to be the first guy to say it and kind of take away the picks a little bit, but I'm just going to have to say it. Brandon Wilkinson. I think he was riding right behind Cookson all night. He's awfully fast, and now he has the track position to try to get it done here with just a couple of laps to go. I'm going to go with the 2 car.
Great pick. Trendy pick. It's the race leader. I can't blame that one. I'm going to tell you what. I'm looking at the 39. There was, I don't think, any penalty there given for the wreck. I think they're calling that hard racing. Debate that all day if you want to. but the 39 of Max Cookson is going to restart fourth. And I'm going to tell you what, I know that car has got a lot of speed, and I think the driver has got a lot of talent watching him. I think him restarting in that fourth spot, 10-lap dash, I think you're going to get after it. I'm going to pick the 39 to come from fourth to win this thing. And I don't know if it's going to be popular or not, but that's who I'm going to take. But we're going to go back to Racing Guy, RacingGuyFlag.com, Green Flag, Wilkinson, Thompson, Jeffrey, Cookson, Joe Lusk. That's our top five heading off into turn one.
It is, and obviously Wilkinson doing a great job up there trying to pull away from the rest of this pack, but you know with just a couple of laps to go, these guys are going to hold back nothing here. They're going to race hard, going to take every run that they get and try to get a win here. But again, we'll move forward with Max Cookson here riding along in the fourth spot. Don't know how much that race car was hurt by that contact. You can actually see down the straightaway with the draft, loses just the ever so slightest amount of time, so not able to keep up. He may actually not be able to win this thing because of some damage that he sustained in that accident. But right now we have a top three breakaway. Jeffrey, Thompson, and Wilkinson all trying to duke it out here with a couple of laps to go.
They're doing a great job. I want to say kudos here to Keith Jeffrey, a guy who took great care of us to put us out here tonight live at East West Promotions from Auburn, Washington. That number 88 car, Down and Dirty Show, powered by Palomas RZR, General Tire, Super ATV, Jim Beaver Esports Machine. That 88 giving it one heck of a ride. Teammate up ahead with Justin Thompson and the guy from Pawcatuck, Connecticut. That number 2 car, Brandon Wilkinson, he leads the field down to the 3. Can he pick up yet another win in one of these big events here in the Whelen Modifieds and iRacing? Brendan doing good, but a race for second. Jeffrey to the low side of Thompson. Thought it was going to be wheel-to-wheel there off of 4, but thought better of it. Now we're going to race for the lead. Wilkinson throwing the block.
And he's going to wheel hop it here as they go down into turn 1. The block worked on the front straightaway, at least for now. Not sure how Thompson's going to feel about that. Now they're side by side for third. Jeffrey and Cookson. Cookson on the bottom side of the racetrack as they head into turn number 3. Door to door, or wheel to wheel, as you could say here in the Whelen Modifieds. Cookson going to try to use that bottom side, but here comes that draft that's going to work for the favor of Jeffrey here on the straightaway. Just a couple laps left, and again, Wilkinson pulling away. Not sure how much he's going to pull away, and I think Thompson will remember that block attempt here in a couple of laps.
I think he will, as we got 121 going on the board. 5 laps remaining, a little bit of contact for third between Jeffrey and Cookson as those North Bars tires come together. They keep it straight. We're over to 3. They'll touch again. Jeffrey sliding way up the racetrack. Cookson up to third. Joe Lusk down to the inside, racing for the third spot down the front stretch.
And I think that was just Cookson saying, all right, I've had enough. Cookson tried to clear himself once again, but he wasn't clear. Oh, and there's trouble here on the front straightaway. It's going to be the 13 car of Brad Carpenter and Nathan Davis here, running for 10th and 11th respectively. That's going to throw a real wrench in this thing as the caution flag is out. They wrecked entering turn 1, hadn't even made the corner yet. But that's going to throw a real wrench in this thing, as I don't know if we're going to have a restart. I think that might be the end of this race, and Wilkinson may bring home the win. Not sure if we're going to get a green-white checkered or not.
We may. I'm going to try to see if I peek through the itinerary here, see if we can figure out if we're going to get any attempts at a green-white checker. I don't see, but I'm not sure I'm looking at the right place, but definitely contact on the racetrack. Yellow flag, a 36 car of Davis involved. I hate to see that late because this was shaping up to be one whale of a finish now as we get 123 laps on the board. I'm going to wait to see if this thing gets a call for a green-white checker finish. It's been exciting to watch. Can you imagine, Blake? I mean, I know I've done it before, but have you ever, all in your broadcasting career, a green-white checker potentially? Aren't you itching to finally get kind of one, a real one?
Oh, no doubt about it. And we're actually hearing from Race Control right now. There's going to be just one attempt at a green-white checker to try and settle this thing out here at New Hampshire. They'll add the extra laps to the board. So we're getting some extra racing here at New Hampshire. And boy, what a show it's going to be. Brandon Wilkinson, Justin Thompson, Max Cookson, who we've seen make some aggressive moves all night long, running up in the top 3. But don't forget about Joe Lusk, Keith Jeffrey, Jason Perkins, Tyler Chadwick. There's just a whole host of guys that have the short run speed to try to go up and win this thing. Also have to think here, how many guys would even think about coming down pit road? I think that's kind of out of the question for most of these guys on the lead lap, even though only 11 cars remain on the lead lap. So this is going to be a wild finish here. We've seen these guys lean on each other all night long, and I don't think it's going to be any different here with just one green-white checkered to decide it.
I think it's going to be wild. I can't imagine it's going to be anything less than exciting here with a green-white checker. I'm going to tell you what. If I'm like a Justin Carey back to the 42 running in 8th, or Steve Rogers back there with Zach Burke, Brad Carpenter, who's the last car to lead lap, I am coming to pit road. I am strapping 4 tires on, and I am going to run it for all it is worth for that 1 or 2 laps, because I don't think the contact is over yet. I think the excitement is building. I think the guys in the race cars are all antsy. It is go time. It's time to race that trophy in victory lane. I don't think the action is quite done yet here, Blake. I think this time we're going to get 1 to go over the speedway, and I haven't had the pleasure of doing a green-white checker in a Whelen modified. I've seen them before. They're usually pretty exciting. You come to a place like a Stafford or a Thompson, or a place like a Waterford Speedball I've been to many times, a lot of great racetracks up here in the Northeast. They make for spectacular finishes. I'm going to tell you what, I think we're in for another one here this evening.
I think we are. We just have to remember, will Justin Thompson remember kind of that late block that kind of made him wheel hop a little bit as they entered turn 1 on the front straightaway? You have to think if a move like that comes into mind. And Thompson's in the catbird seat right now. If he wants to make a move over on Wilkinson to try and win this race, well, he can put the bumper to the back of him and try to get it done. Although one thing worth mentioning is the lights go off on the pace car. Will be 1 to go this time, and we'll have that green-white checkered finish out. If they wreck before they get to the stripe, I actually discovered this by experience at Martinsville on iRacing this past week. If they wreck before they take the green flag, it actually does not count as an attempt. So we're going to see 1 green-white checkered here, but we just have to make sure we reach the stripe, and then from there on, it's just going to be who gets back to the stripe first.
Is that right? They got to make it back to the line to have an attempt. Well, that could be interesting. I'm going to think with 11 cars and now 12 with the 18 of Rick Webster now being added back to the lead lap. I'm going to think we're probably going to make it back to the line, but the exit of turn 2, I'm going to be a little bit iffy on that one. We'll wait and see. I'm hoping it's clean. I'm hoping it's a great race. I don't like seeing crash at the end. I want to see a good old-fashioned race to the finish line as we have the Chevrolet Camaro pace car on pit road. iRacingIFlag.com green flag is in the air for the final time tonight. Brandon Wilkinson going to lead this hungry group of drivers. They're off into turn 1.
Well, let's see what Justin Thompson can do. He's able to roll the center just a little bit, and it looks like a good exit off the corner for Brandon Wilkinson. However, throw Cookson into the mix as well. He has a good exit off of corner number 2. Thompson following right there with Wilkinson, as it looks like Wilkinson, a great corner right there. White flag is in the air. 1 more trip around the Magic Mile with Wilkinson in control.
Wilkinson has won these big races before. Can he pick another one up here tonight in New Hampshire? He is 4 turns away in turn number 1. He's in the middle. Thompson going to make a look down low. Cookson right there on the tire track. So off turn number 2. It is all Brandon Wilkinson by 2 car lengths. He's going to hug the bottom. If Thompson's going around, he's going to have to do it up high. They're in 3 and 4 for the final time.
And Wilkinson just 1 more corner to do it as he'll bring it home. They're getting dicey back there for 3rd, but Wilkinson's going to look out his windshield, and he's going to win at the Magic Mile. Brandon Wilkinson gets it done here at New Hampshire at East-West Promotions.
Brandon Wilkinson taking down a popular win here tonight in New Hampshire. Justin Thompson for 2nd. Max Cookson gets 3rd. Joe Luss 4th. Keith Jeffrey, a solid top 5 run for the 88. 6 goes to Jay Perkins. 7th for Tyler Chadwick. Justin Carey will grab 8th. 9th to Steve Rogers. Zach Burke going to grab a top 10. 11th to Brad Carpenter. Alex Krapser, Rick Repser is 11th. Brad Carpenter 12th. Alex Krapser 1 lap down. 13th. 14th goes to Trent Goodrow. And Joseph Sagala, a guy who we saw take a strategy play early, he's going to finish up 15th. Blake, he's going to finish up 2 laps down.
He is, and the rest of this field, for the most part, not making it to the end or several laps down. Christopher Hyatt finishes up 16th, 17th Joseph Graff, 18th Nathan Davis, 19th Jim Caesar, and then finishing up in 20th, 11 laps down, unfortunately. Dave Bodio, who just had one heck of a ride tonight, had a great chance to win this race. Unfortunately, after that accident, he goes behind the wall, started second, and finishes up in the 20th position tonight. 21st, Gary Holbrook. 22nd, Kyle Souza. 23rd, Brad Ringer. 24th, Bobby Rafferty. 25th, Ryan Blanchard. 26th, Jeffrey McConey. And you know what? We have to give a shout out to McConey. He was in our YouTube chat and said that he used to do some announcing at Stafford Speedway. So, Phil, you may know this guy, whether you know it or not. But he finishes up 26th. 27th is Scott Bryant. 28th, Jeffrey Stanton. 29th, Glenn Pressel. And then 30th is Andrew McKenzie. 31st, Steve Costley. 32nd, Chris Forster. 33rd, Austin Jones. 34th, Kyle O'Danick. 35th, James DuPont. 36th, Anthony Alfredo. 37th, Dylan Kopic. 38th, Kurt Vigent. 39th, Roy Scrivano. And then rounding out this field in 40th was Zach Murphy, who finished 128 laps down and never saw one lap here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
That's a tough break for them. And Jeff McConey, I remember that name there, said he did some work at Stafford. I got to say, in full disclosure, I've unfortunately not taken a trip there since the 2000 race season, so it's been a long time. Have to make the return trip. And Jeff, great to hear you're part of the fraternity of announcers. Great to always have more in the family. But we are going to jump over to the Discord owned by the good group over here at East West Promotions. We'll take part in the BladeNo.com Full Velocity Post Race Show. We will talk to our top 3 finishers. We'll chase the stories down next live on your source for esports racing. Hey, back here live on your source for esports racing, the Full Velocity Racing Network here tonight. East West Promotions Mischief 125 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway goes to the driver of the Deuce, Brandon Wilkinson. Second now to Justin Thompson. Third to Max Cookson. But Blake, I'll throw it down to you. I believe first up you got second place, Justin Thompson, the number 98. Guy had a great run out there tonight, bud. Take it down there and see what he was up to.
No doubt about it, Phil. I'm caught up here with Justin Thompson, one of the many General Tires cars that was up in the mix throughout this event. And Justin, a lot of adversity to come over from this race. You start fourth, kind of get shuffled back there early, and you found yourself back into the top three before it was all said and done. Kind of talk about what you think you needed there to try and run down some of those guys there in the
last few laps. Kind of needed a little bit fresher tires. I didn't take tires but one time the entire race, and that was probably around lap 30, I think, when we had that caution, and it really showed. Got tangled up in a couple wrecks, got me shuffled to the back. Car was just wicked fast. Me, the team over at Jim Beaver Esports, I mean, we worked our butts off on the car for like the last week and a half, and it really showed.
Oh, it certainly did. You had Keith Jeffrey and his machine. You have Dave Bodio just running up front all night long. So no doubt about it, you guys came here well prepared to have a great night tonight, and your car's definitely showed that speed. But kind of talk about that. You mentioned that older tires were kind of the culprit tonight. How difficult is it from your perspective when you get a couple of those cautions? You just don't really know when that long green flag run is going to come. How difficult is it behind the wheel of that race car? And I'm sure you're talking to some of your teammates as well to kind of predict, hey, do we think we're going to get a green flag run now, or do we want to keep this track position? What's kind of going through your mind there?
We did a couple fuel runs earlier in the week, and we found out how far we could make it on a full tank of fuel. So we knew from the get-go where the fuel window opened for us to where, hey, if we pit here, we'll make it the rest of the way, regardless if it goes green or caution. So I mean, we was trying to prepare ourselves. A few of us, at least, we're trying to prepare ourselves to where if it did go green, we could have a shorter pit stop for the last little bit of fuel we needed to make it the rest of the way. And with all the cautions we had, it kind of worked out to where we was able to pit early enough and get the fuel situation taken care of and not have to worry about it anymore.
And certainly some great insight there from Justin Thompson. But Justin, I'll give you the mic one more time here. Of course, we had a great crowd on tap tonight watching this event. Anybody you want to give a shout out to there? Now's your time.
All the guys at Jim Beaver Esports, Jim Beaver, all the sponsors that are on board with us now, Four Wheel Parts, Vision Wheel, Dirtfish, General Tire, Jim Beaver's Down and Dirty Action Motorsports Radio, powered by Polaris Razor, Super ATV. Who else we got? We've got Impact, and we've got one more on here that I can't quite make out. Gibson Performance Exhaust. And of course, Matt Everhart for busting his butt, putting all these paint schemes together for us. He was really under the gun to get them all done in time for.
Well, no, he certainly did a great job, and we had several people comment on how good those race cars looked out there. So definitely a good shout out to him as well. But the Fairmount Georgia native brings it home second tonight here from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That's Justin Thompson. And while we just talked to him, I'm going to go ahead and move aside and talk to our third place runner tonight. He was a driver of the 39. We saw him up front for much of this race. It was Max Cookson. And Max, you just seemed like you had those things really dialed up tonight.
Yeah, car was good. Kind of got messed up on pit strategy, so had to fight through the pack there, got back through the pack, and battled hard with Dave, and we made some contact. But I mean, that's just hard racing up front. Got into an incident off too, just hard racing. Car was a little bit tore up, but still able to get a pretty good run out of it.
About it, I kind of talked about it with Justin, but you mentioned you get off sequence with tire strategy, and I know we were talking with Justin. That's just a really difficult thing to deal with. Obviously, you're out front. You have track position for a good portion of this race. Just kind of talk about how frustrating that is. That you don't really know in that long run.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a guessing game. Had the fuel, know what I needed to take to be able to make it all the way, and that's what I did. So me and Brandon just worked together on the fuel pit together, and had the incident with Dave, which kind of killed my night, but still a good run.
No doubt about it. Still finished on the podium, but as we're moving quickly here, I'll give you the mic. Obviously, we had a good crowd on tap for tonight, and probably have a couple of fans and some people you want to thank out there that got you on the podium tonight for this run. So go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, me and Brandon only had like an hour and a half to work on the car, so we just threw something together, and it was pretty good. Big thank you to Cosman over at Splash and Go Graphics. Unfortunately, my trading paints had an error tonight, so had a nice car for tonight, but weren't able to see it. You guys for broadcasting the race, and East West for putting on the show.
No doubt about it. I give a shout out to Cosman. I know the talents that he has in making paint schemes, whether it's iRacing NR 2003, just about anything graphic wise. He's a good person to go to. So that is your second, or check that third place runner tonight, representing Splash and Go Graphics out of Pittsfield, Maine. That is Max Cookson. And I'm sure if we're back over here, we'll be talking to you soon, man. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, as he exits, we're going to turn it over to Phil Lacasse, who is in victory lane with one happy Brandon Wilkinson.
Absolutely right. Down here in BladeNo.com, Victory Lane, the driver of the deuce from Pawcatuck, Connecticut. Not too terribly far from here. Our friend Brandon Wilkinson. Brandon, a terrific job, buddy. Had a solid race car all night long. And got to walk us through those last 50 laps. You were riding there in third. We saw Dave and Max come together up front. The C's punted you out to the race lead. Was that like just heaven opened up and just let you have that clean air finally?
Yeah, for sure. I was still a little worried about fuel there with about 50 to go. So I just kind of rode behind those guys and was able to stay in the draft and kind of run half to three-quarter throttle and was able to keep up with them, man. I'll tell you what, me and Max built a pretty damn good rocket ship here in the hour of practice. I met him in real life this weekend at Seekonk Speedway, and we both decided we wanted to run this race, but we didn't have anything to run it with. So him and I came together, built a setup here in the practice session, and it turned out pretty damn good. So, yeah, it was pretty lucky, that unfortunate for them, but lucky for us. They got together, and it just kind of all came together tonight.
Funny you mentioned the Concrete Palace. I almost had a thought with the family to go out there over the weekend. Unfortunately, didn't get there, but glad you did. I heard it was quite the show out there with Mr. Hirschman and Mr. Silk out there. We won't talk about that here. We're talking sim racing tonight here, Brandon, and one heck of a job out there. I've seen you wheel these modifieds for a long time. As Keith said earlier on, this great information he gave us, picking up wins in the Speed 51 Modified Tour, the SARA Tour. Another big checker flag here tonight, buddy. Where does this stack up to all the big races you have won over the years?
I tell you, we won the Snowball Derby last year, and I don't think I could breathe coming across the checker, but this one was pretty damn close. Luckily, we had a good spotter tonight, Ryan Blanchard, after he wrecked. Man, he had a pretty damn fast car, but Blanchard spotted us through the last 50 or so, and there was a time when Justin got to our inside there, and I wasn't, just like what happened at Five Flags in the Speed 51 League, I wasn't losing the race with 10 to go. So I kind of clear loaded myself down to the bottom. And, after all that good luck, I figured it needed to come full circle tonight. But yeah, this stacks up pretty good. We'll definitely take a win at Loudon and a win at home for sure.
Absolutely right. Well, always good to take a win at your home track, man. This was a lot of fun from a guy like myself who, that you remember me, I wasn't very fast. We raced together in a league called Cars there back in 2003, years and years ago. Cool to see a guy like you out here still doing it at a high level, Brandon. Let me give you the mic one more time here live on the Full Velocity Racing Network. We are live via Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Anybody out there watching, friends, family, sponsors, whoever you'd like to thank there, bud, the floor is all yours. Take it away and give them all a shout.
Yeah, first and foremost, I've got the greatest sponsor in sim racing. Drew Krybeck at Epic Media kept these twisted tees nice and cold and the koozies all race that we're going to enjoy here in a minute. I got the nice sweatshirt he sent me and, the shirt that kept me comfortable all race. Willis Auto Body from Grantham, New Hampshire. Tommy Catalano Rocket Performance out of New York. Everybody at the Posse. Ty Majeski, Bill Martin, Drew, Gareth Gonder, Spearman, Bragg. All the cranky old guys, Joe Schaefer, Bill Martin, all those guys, man. I love those guys, and they push me to be a better person and a better racer every day. So, just all those guys, man, and Max for helping out, and Keith and Kyle and everybody at East West for the show, and you guys for the broadcast. It's pretty cool to be able to sit back with my epic koozie and drink some twisted teas and watch the race later on.
I love it. I think that's a great idea. Sit back and watch. Winner tonight here in Loudon, New Hampshire, aboard BladeNo.com, Victory Lane number 2, Brandon Wilkinson, taking down the great win here tonight. Congratulate him and got to say hello for the first time and thank our friend Keith Jeffrey. Keith, for bringing us out here tonight, friend. I hope when you go back and watch this one, I hope we did you as well. Thanks for having us. This race was a hell of a lot of fun, man. I hope to God we do this again. Modifieds are just my thing. I live in this part of the country. I know you're out all the way out there in Washington. That's the first thing I got to ask you. Do you have ties out to the modifieds everywhere in the Northeast? Because it's really weird for a guy to be 3,000 miles away to have such a great series put together like this.
No, first of all, thanks, guys. I've been getting messages, said the broadcast was awesome. I think we put on a good show for you there, especially at the end. But no, absolutely not. I just got on here. I'm a big super late model guy. That's what we have in this part of the country. And tried a modified race one day, and it was fun. And I kind of got to know some of the guys. It's just a awesome community, and I wanted to help build the build the modified on iRacing. So my buddy Kyle O'Danick and I decided to form East West, and it's grown and grown, and this is where we're at.
Well, this is really, really awesome for a guy like me and living in modified country, a guy that came up through the years, 20-something years ago as a young announcer trying to break into the business, having a lot of these modified stories to my memory. Great to see a lot of these old names coming out here to play and seeing how some of the new names, the second generations, if you will, coming out here and being a part of it. So this has been a great fun for me. Thank you for having us. But you had a good, solid car, a great run all night long, very quietly snuck your way up in the top 5, and then you come to that last restart. You had a realistic chance to go up there and grab a checkered flag, man. Terrific job. You got so much talent over here, man. It's cool to watch unknown guys like you mix this thing up with some of the guys I've watched over these years develop and grow, and you got to be proud of such an effort like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Fifth is a kind of happy and sad all at the same time. I made a big mistake early in the race, tried to pit and lost a lap, not paying attention to where the leader had to battle back from that. And I think I had a car that could run with those guys. I tried to long run there. We tried to run the leaders down, and we were inching closer. We just weren't going to have enough time. And then the restarts just didn't quite go my way. But man, the thing was a rocket, and I think I definitely would have had something for Brandon, Max, Justin, and these guys if I would have, if things would have fallen my way just a little better.
All right, so I got to ask for guys that are, looking to get involved in a great place like this, be a part of some great modified racing. They want to come get involved with you guys. How do they look you up? How do they come join? And what do you guys have coming in the next couple of weeks? So you guys have a great series becoming the next, I think, week or so. Thursday nights opening up at Stafford Motor Speedway. That's a great place of modified racing. Tell guys how they get involved.
So yeah, just reach out to myself, Keith Jeffrey, or Kyle O'Danick on Facebook, or find us at East West Promotions or East West Modifieds on. Shoot us a message, follow the page, that'll have all the info, or you can find the league on iRacing. Yeah, we're gonna start our 4th hosted season. Starts technically tonight, but the first real race starts next Thursday at Stafford. We got a great season look. Lineup's gonna be great. We're gonna do our 5th annual, I believe, what used to be the North Shootout at Concord, rebranding that to the East-West Shootout. It's one of the premier races that we run all year. It's an absolute blast. So we got a lot of fun things coming up this season.
Awesome to hear, and I got to thank you on behalf of all of us here at the Full Velocity Racing Network, all of us. Thank you to Keith and Kyle as well, who did a great job. Kyle, and you just joined us up here in the booth as well, man. This was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and having us over here was a blast for a guy like myself, and for Blake, who's just got the talent, Jack doing the controls, for having us out here, man. I see the 21 on the side of your car. Is there any ties with 21 in the modified community to your name?
Not in the modified community. I grew up a big Michael Waltrip fan, so I just stuck to the 21 and slapped it on a modified.
I like that right there. Well, buddy, thank you for having us so much tonight. Appreciate all you guys do for modified racing as a whole. A big fan now. I'm going to follow this page closely, and thank you guys for being part of a great show. We hope to do this again.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that'll do it for us here down at BladeNo.com, Victory Lane, for East West Promotions, for all of us here at the Full Velocity Racing Network. Jack Truman, Blake Michaelis, of course, my partner in crime, Todd Stanton, Ron Piles. Got to thank all these guys over here once again. Keith and Kyle, terrific gentlemen, great racing. For all of our sponsors again, you got to thank Hanover Record Service, iRacing, iFlag.com, Voiles Trucking, CCM Custom Designs and Engraving, BladeNo.com, South Texas Speedway, TDR Racing League, Hard Motorsports, Trash Panda Graphics. Thank you so much for watching us this night. This is a lot of fun live on the Full Velocity Racing Network. Good night, everybody.